Yo, what's up, YouTubers? This is I'm just driving, and I thought about something. My woman, she was concerned. She said, you're watching these people on YouTube, and they're getting in your head, or whatever. And it just now dawned on me, it's just like this, grand epiphany hit me. I was like, I tried to tell her, I was like, no, these people are more articulate than I am. So when I see somebody saying what I said in a form that's more digestible, and I think you can understand it, I sent you that video. You watched that video, and now the way you're talking to me, I just now realized, do you think that I'm listening to these people and then coming to their conclusions based off what they said? But I don't listen to you. I don't even listen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't listen to my parents. I don't even listen to God. I'm skeptical at the hardcore level. I don't believe nobody. I don't even listen to God. I'll be honest with you. I find out stuff works, and then I'll be reading the Bible and be like, oh, that's why that works. I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it. It is a very tough road. I have, I've been talking like this, no shit, since I was about 5 years old. They called me the 40-year-old midget. I'm not kidding you a bit. I've been this way my whole life. I would have an adult conversation with a grown person when I was, knee-high. I mean, yeah. Back when Hector was a pup, okay? That'll date the situation. If you don't know what back when Hector was a pup means, then I'm older than you, and yeah, anyways. So back then, I would debate grown men about stuff, and eventually they would get upset and be like, shut up, you're just a kid, or whatever, catch an elbow talking about, hey, be respectful to this guy. Anyway, from Dad. Anyways, so after realizing everybody's lying one way or another, trying to get over on each other, I just don't trust nobody about nothing. I don't. I really don't. Like, I mean, it could be right there. They could show me step by step. This is this gets that, yada yada, whatever. I'm just like, there's something else there. You know what I mean? And riding with Dad in the truck, seeing these people out here, the highway robbers, that played a significant role in it as well. The Bible says it was the Holy Ghost, because even when I was a kid, they tried to convince me I had an imaginary friend that I was sharing my lunch with. I mean, my sister was off to school. She's 3 years older than I am, and she's starting school. We're at the end of the last dirt road, and I'm like out there building a tabernacle, if you want to get all churchy. I straightened out a bunch of nails. Then I nailed some boards together. Made a little clubhouse is what we called it, you know what I mean? I nailed up some boards and put some tin on it, had some sides. It had no roof. And then I hung up this piece of carpet. And I remember opening the carpet and saying, come on in. You know what I mean? And then I'd go out there and I'd eat my lunch. I'd split my sandwich in half, whatever. And and for the record, I would come back and it'd be gone. Now, I don't know if the dogs ate it or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to put something on there today accurate. These things could be explained away, sure. But I know I was talking to somebody, I know that I laid down at night, and I'd just be thinking about, man, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have pulled my sister's hair like
After
that.
1.5 miles
or whatever,
left.
and anyways, so it just dawned on me that she's thinking that I'm getting off track by listening to YouTubers talk about the Bible. But I don't listen to the YouTubers that are saying stuff I know ain't right. And I'm just sending her the video because maybe y'all talk more eloquently in a more, civilized manner. You know what I mean? You're not like this crazed savage. You know what I'm saying? And
After 3/4 of a mile, keep
anyway.
left towards Interstate 70.
I was thinking about that. I was like, why would she think I'm listening to them? I won't listen to her. And then it dawned on me, it's like, I don't even listen to God. Like, I have to learn the hard way. And then, after suffering, I'll be reading in the Bible and it'll dawn on me. I literally call that stumbling into righteousness. I do not recommend it. Like, go ahead and just figure it out. You know what I mean? But on the other hand,
keep right to stay on I-78 East.
Is it right or left? See what I mean? I don't trust none of them. So, what's a car route? What's a truck route?
Keep left.
You know, we're going with the dude because he's the truck route guy. And I got it set up that way so I can hear which way's which. So I want to be cheap and save the company money, but I want to be on the truck route for sure. Anyways, use all the tools. Why not?
In 2 miles, take the exit toward Garden State Parkway.
So you drive on the parkway and park in the driveway. I mean, you see what I mean? There's plenty of room to be skeptical about all this stuff. So you have to develop critical thinking and figure it out for yourself. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to none of these people. And then the Bible itself, the translators are suspect, but the Bible is not. The Bible is trustworthy. It really is. I've thoroughly vetted it, and for 1,000+ years, for sure, some sinner that loves the sin has tried to prove it wrong because they don't want to give up the sin. So in the grand scheme of things, you know, pick your sin. You know, I mean, people will argue till you're blue in the face over eating bacon. You know what I mean? Oh, and I found some. Oh, man, I wish I had that package.
Caused by construction.
I found some bacon. It was so good. It was beef bacon, and it was so good. I was wondering if they just like labeled pork bacon that because it was so good. Anyway, I haven't had bacon in almost a year. Maybe what? No, it's getting cold out. Yeah, it's been more than a year since I had pork bacon. Anyways, so we're sitting in the middle of the highway now because, you know, traffic. And anyway, that hit my head. I was like, I don't. Why? My wife knows me. Why would she think that I'm going to get on a YouTube channel and take this guy as gospel?
Of a mile, keep left
you know what I mean? Like, why would she think that? You know what I mean? And I was like, man, I got to make this video and send this video to her. And I'm like, man, this will bless the whole community. Like, everybody needs to hear this. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know, that we currently have a martyr on our hands due to some sicko's choices or whatever else like that. And then, like, I watched a video and this guy was talking about Ken Clement. You need to write that down. Ken Clement. This dude died already. And before he died, he'd be up there playing piano and stuff. And he starts saying all this stuff, prophetically speaking the future. And it seems to be pretty accurate. And one of the things he said is the rise of a woman with beautiful eyes and all this kind of stuff. And then he talks about a new political party that rises out of it as well. And yeah, I can see all of that for sure. Like, I don't have some prophetic vision to see that. I'm just like, you know, just regular ass dude with, you know, critical thinking skills saying, is this possible? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty possible. You know what I mean? Like, we see Charlie's wife. Yeah, because I mean that's what our country is all about. Is, you know, it's hard in a victim mentality culture, you know, lifted to power because you overcome so much, and you know there's so much against you and all this stuff that they you know, foundational that they laid that, the perfect. I don't think there's a better way to unite the country than to have somebody that never really did anything wrong. That since he's, 18 to 31, just like, let's talk about this, and, responded respectfully. Therefore, he's respectable. And then y'all blow his neck out. Now his wife is going to be like, she's like the ultimate victim. You know what I mean? Like, what did she do wrong? You know what I mean? The kids got scared and ran to their dad in the situation. You know what I mean? So like, the sympathy for the wife and the kids and everything. You got, all these people. Thank God, all these people in the United Kingdom got together. Hopefully y'all were smart enough to talk to each other in the crowd and be like, oh yeah, you live over here? Yeah, I live over there. Blah, blah, blah. The phone's at the house. Here's this pencil and paper with cursive writing that the next generation don't understand. So we got our little code here called cursive writing. I mean, it's all right there. It's too easy to connect dots like that. Like what's your secret code? A signature. Anyways, I guess my ending's coming out. Go stay with Dooley. OCO. Dude Sonali. That's taters tomorrow. I say, hey, you guys spoke? Hello. We're having taters tomorrow. I had a pig named Tater. And my buddy, he's full-blood Cherokee, but his name was Stacy Scott, which is, Oklahoma, right? Anyways, and he lived at Cherry Tree. So, he would say, he'd go, Dad, when he'd see that pig, making all this sound, trying to get up. And pig would lay on that tile. Trying to cool off there in the kitchen. I'd say, hey, man, you want, well, we had one named Fish, and then Fish, did Tater have fish, or Fish had Tater? I can't remember what generation it was. We didn't eat them. They were pets. It's just like having a dog. But they were so smart, and you can train them to find stuff. Like, hey, Border Patrol pro tip. If you actually want to find drugs and fucking explosives and shit, like, train pigs. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? These dogs are nothing compared to a pig. And don't cut its teeth. Don't cut its teeth. You let some crazy son bitch act like they're going to do something to you. You got your little attack dog. Bro, you ain't seen no attack hog. And if you feed them right, they are a lot tougher than dogs. Amazing strength from pigs. And I don't have any idea. Like, you'll see these Razorback pigs out in Arkansas, and then you'll see the domesticated pigs. And sometimes, like, a domestic will get out, that they kind of interbreed, you know what I mean? So, where I was growing up at, you'd see this red dotted like a Poland China, and then you'd see some that were black and white like a hemp. I think you'd see some that were, Razorback, like you'd think of when you see the mascot for some of them Arkansas teams. Where it's just real bulky, and then he's got a little old ass. And then once they, kind of blended or whatever, some of them pigs out in the woods are like 600 pounds, 8 foot long, and they will fuck you up, dude. Like, they're wild. They got the heart of a savage, and yeah, it's they're all there. They're all there. They command respect via violence. Okay, those are some serious pigs. But and they'll den up too, man. Like you get up on a den up, like your dog stirs them up, and here they come. And, dude, there might be 30 of them. And they're just coming out. If ever there was a reason for a high capacity magazine, it's hog hunting. I'm telling you right now, Yeah.
In 600 feet,
30
take the
pigs
exit
comes
toward
out of that
Garden
little
State
cove,
Parkway.
out of that little cave, you know what I mean? Because them creeks will cut out the side of the hill. Them pigs will get up in there because they're smart. They're real smart. That's the other thing, too. They're smart. And they're like, run away or kill it. And you don't know what they're thinking. And you corner them. They're coming out swinging. And they got these fangs cut out of their teeth. And they'll just cut you like a razor. Like,
There's a
it's
7-minute
amazing.
slowdown caused by construction in a quarter mile.
Anyway,
You're still on the best route. Take
generally,
the exit toward Garden State Parkway, then merge onto I-78 East.
generally you get a sniffing dog and then a kill dog. So you go out there and chase them, preferably at night, because like you want to have all the fun, and then you get your nice Bowie knife. So as your dog gets a hold of it, now you're not really dispatching the hog, you're saving the dog. And you run up there, you jump on this thing's back, and right where its neck turns into head. And that's the other thing too, like they're real tough. So if you get sick or something like that,
Follow
breaks
the
a leg,
highway.
you know what I mean? When we was raising pigs, you can't just shoot them just anywhere. I mean, you got to get them right in the ear, because their skull is so thick. You'll want to go through their eye or their ear to put them down. You know what I mean? Say it's got a broke leg, broke back, they've been fighting, whatever like that, and it's humane to put them down. Or if you're going to harvest, you know what I mean, for the table, the humane way to put them down, get them out there calm and all that, and then just, shoot them right in the ear. And that immediately, off switch. So they don't even know it's coming. They're just like eating some corn and you're patting the guy, you know what I mean? And then pow, end the story. And then you can process it. Well, that's not the case in the woods with these wild son bitches, okay? And you run up there and jump on this sucker, and then you take this Bowie knife, because your guns are not that effective unless it's so high powered. And then once it's that high powered, it's probably going to go. You're going to get your dog, dude. You can't shoot your dog. You know what I mean? And I mean, get any situation like that, unless you're attached, you can't do anything. And then, the knife's the way to go. So you take the pig out, and it's quite the event. It'll give you a certain, you'll have a certain confidence the rest of your life after you go hog hunting in the 80s and out at the end of the last dirt road. Literally what we did for fun. Why am I saying all this? Okay, so I don't listen to nobody. I don't listen to nobody. I find everything out the hard way. And while difficult, it built something in me. So see, I'm not God, okay? And then I have to do it His way. So time and time and time again, I see all these things. So then I mess it up. I say, God help me, and He fixes it. And then I tell a joke. I say, my wife's almost got me house trained. You know what I mean? And because I like to pee in the backyard. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna stop what I'm doing out there. You know what I mean? Go all the way back up to the house, then track my muddy boots through the house, and blah blah. Take a leak, flush it, waste more clean water. I'll just open the door of the truck and just hose down the front tire, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna expose myself. There's ways for a man to piss outside that's appropriate, and other ways that are not appropriate. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, you know why it's a big deal? It's just taking a piss. You know what I mean? And if you're some kind of weirdo, shit, get dealt with. It just be done. The Bible says something about go kill and eat. I'm pretty sure he was talking about harvesting meat. But the first time I heard that, I didn't make that connection. I was just like, if you got to kill something, for whatever reason. I mean, there's 1,000 reasons to kill. You know, murder's bad, but to kill, I mean, you know, how many chickens get killed every day just to feed everybody? You know what I mean? Like how much death is Colonel Sanders responsible for? None. Absolutely none. We're not murdering chickens, and you know that's why you don't waste your food. That's also why you don't play with your food, because that would be weird. You know what I mean? You don't want a pet and then, you know, harvest that for table, because that's you know, that's crazy. And then, like, you don't murder or anything else like that. But, you know, if my dog, my pet, gets out here and bites somebody, it's my responsibility to put him down. And then if, you know, he's mortally wounded and he, you know, he's going to sit there and suffer for a month and then die, well, you know, we got to put him down, because that's the humane thing to do. And the knowing the difference is critical, and the Bible explains it real good in the Old Testament. It's very well explained. You know, you read some of these translations, it says, "Thou shalt not kill," and then you read it, and it's just like, kill him for this, kill him for that. If they do this, kill him. If he does that, kill him. Kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. So obviously the translation is "Thou shalt not murder." So that's why you need different translations. That way you can get the gist of the Bible, right? And the reason why I'm such a Bible thumper is because by the time I actually was, you know, detained and a man, I read and I found these things that made sense. I'm like, I didn't read something and I never had that, because a lot of it's about being out in the wilderness, a lot of it's about being on the farm, and then you know, you got your hierarchy as a young man growing up in that type of stuff. And like, I remember an old boy that, I mean, we would see each other, he'd be like, "Hey, do you want to fight?" I'd be like, "Yeah." You know what I mean? And we would fight each other, but we were friends. We're distant friends to this day. But growing up as a kid, you know what I mean? We would fight, and that's just what we did. And but it wasn't like, you know, we wasn't you know, engaged in mortal combat. You know what I mean? We were just fighting each other. And once one of us asked the other, it was a matter of honor, I guess pride or whatever, but like that was just the thing, like, you know. And we became good men because of that. And I can think of another guy, you know, and he wanted to fight, and I'm like, well, let's do it, you know what I mean? And he's like, "Oh, let's go off over here and hide somewhere," and blah blah blah. And then he's like, "Oh, well, I think we were waiting on the school bus after school, but still on school property," and he wanted to go across the street or wherever else like that. And I knew that if my parents had to come pick me up from town, that I was getting whooped. You know what I mean? And yeah, I had more fear of my parents than anything anybody else would do, because they're diabolical, man. They'll make you work for a month. I can take an ass whooping and get over it the next couple of days, you know. I've handed them out, and I've healed up from them. I'm old enough now that I try to avoid them, you know. I eschew evil as much as I can. Just get away from that evil. Try to avoid it. Eschew. Everybody act like they know all these big words. Eschew evil. That's the word of the day. You know what I mean? You can't. I had one dude in high school. There was two of them. They called them Itchy and Scratchy, like that. Like that. They fight. The Itchy and Scratchy Show. On The Simpsons. One of them was Itch, the other one was Scratch. Well, Itch, he was one of them lanky dudes. You really gotta watch them tall, lanky ones, because they don't look like they're that tough. but their bone structure stretched out so far. Like me, I'm real stocky. But if I was 6'6", I wouldn't look so stocky with the same amount of muscle. And the size of the muscle and the strength is two different things. I knew a very old man from the tropics down in Florida. That dude put stucco over his head, rubbed it on the ceiling all day long, every day for, 45 years. He's probably still doing it down there to this day. Homeless guy, lived under a bridge. And, crazy. Crazy strong, He looked like one of them Stretch Armstrongs that you pull out and whatever like that. I mean, the guy couldn't have been that thick. You know what I mean? His arms are about the size of my wrist. You know what I mean? At the bicep, no shoulders. Like you can see his bones through his t-shirt. This dude was strong, man. This guy's like Skeletor or something. Anyway, Edge told me, he said, you can't hurt what you can't hit. And I said, that's a solid philosophy. Because I tend to take a couple on the way in and then counter. You know what I mean? So when he realized what I was doing, he said, you can't hurt what you can't hit. He said, you're going to be better off to work on your feet, where you're placing your foot placement, and that peekaboo style, like when the footwork of Mike Tyson. There's a lot to be said about hitting somebody or whatever else like that, but where you're putting your feet is bigger. Your foundation is everything. Your power comes from your legs, and then you're like bleep blop, bloop to the side, and then tag, you're it, and you're back out of there. And then there's like the you square up and all that. And then we would see like Roy Jones Jr. And there's another guy that was real good at counter punching that we watched. But he would, they do that deal where they're just hiding behind their shoulder. You know what I mean? I can't do it. I'm sitting in the chair. Anyway, they didn't square up. They stood sideways for a smaller target. But then those guys you can hook, and you got a big target from the hook. But they're doing this. You know what I mean? They're moving around and everything, and they just got that shoulder up there. So you got your two hands and using that shoulder. So that was pretty good. But Itch would he was all about the movement. He was all about get out of the way. And then recently I was reading Job and everything. I made a video about it. It's eschew evil. Job eschewed evil. He dodged, he juked, he moved around. If he even thought his kids was out of line, he would give sacrifice and offerings just on a baby. You know what I mean? Just a little insurance on this deal. And he did everything by the book to please God. You know what I mean? And that's, dodging the devil. Even when the devil was sick on him, to the point that his wife is like, why don't you curse God and die? You know what I mean? And he's like, woman, God gives and God takes away. Regardless, praise God. Thank God. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there looking at this, and I'm reading this, and I've known this for 30 years. Then I'm talking to my wife. I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure it's Friday night till Saturday night. And she's like, fussy about it, thinking that I've been brainwashed by some YouTube
There's
channel.
a lane closure ahead.
And I'm just like, I've told her this 17 times everywhere I can say it, to the point where I'm frustrated, starting to cuss when I bring it up. I'm like, I probably shouldn't cuss my wife out about resting. And I'm just like, you sleep till noon, so like, what is the deal? Why, of all the things I'm trying to do here, is establish a pattern of, and the first day, for the record, the first day I ever met her, I told her, I said, Friday night's our night. And because of course I realized, grace. I know that if I never get the Sabbath right, that's got nothing to do with whether or not I make it to heaven. It is a sign that I have chosen to do it His way, though. And, how long am I going to go from, ignorant to, a baby, and then like this teenager stuff where it's just like, well, and then like I need to be fully mature as a man. I'm pushing 50 years. You know what I mean? 50's right around the corner here. So like in my head, I'm like, if I, because God judges us, so we judge others. You know what I mean? But if I set this thing up a certain way and everything else like that, and I'm like, bro, I've been dealing with you and giving you grace on this situation for 38 years. And I know you know. I know she knows. And all this, well, at what point, is it too much? You know what I mean? And I got that conviction for myself. You know what I mean? I've had it for a long time or whatever like that. And she's like, oh, I've been around those, they changed their name and blah, blah. Try to, live like a Jew. And I was like, okay. So you have the understanding. If you understand grace, you're taking off on Tuesday to go down here and extend that grace and love and help these people and celebrate recovery, which is fantastic. And I know, basically, your job pays more money, on giving people a ride. And she does this thing. It's like Uber, but it ain't Uber. It's called GoZone, and it's the county has these vans, and she's basically a cab driver. And by doing that, see, I gotta pay attention to this. New York City. There we go. Jersey Turnpike. So anyway, I'm like, if you don't work on, Friday at sundown until, Saturday at sundown, you can schedule that. I can, schedule that. If I stop driving on Friday night and I start driving again Sunday morning, I'll have a fresh clock every day. And I'll explain that to my boss and them several times, that they just keep scheduling stuff anyway. So, it is what it is. I guess I'm going to be late. Whatever, like, those are the parameters of what's happening. And then, they got some great people working here in the office, man. They are really great. The load planners, the weekend people, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they have enough staff, but the ones they got are excellent, man. And they're real good. They're real good. The safety, the HR, the ops manager, you know what I mean? The main guy, like, he's real good and everything. And they're very professional. And I get stressed out bad. And I go full skip-opotamus sometimes, you know what I mean? It's just like, they tried to lock me in that
There's a slowdown on New Jersey 495 East before the Lincoln Tunnel.
You know what I mean? And I'm bad. When I'm bad, I'm bad at everybody. I don't care who you are. If you're in the zone, you know what I mean? It's just like, fight or flight, they lock the door. Dealing with all these losses, like I've been, unpaid for 5 days. And then, the check I got, I had to pay to get out of the thing. You know what I mean? Back in the day, being a good witness, I would drive around without a driver's license and they'd take me to jail. In Oklahoma, they have to take you to jail. So my child support was caught up in everything, and that's why the license was suspended. Like, all I had to do is just go down there, take a picture. But I wouldn't do it. And I'd get on Craigslist, and I'd buy a truck or a car or whatever I can, and I'd start working. And I just put the title in the glove box, knowing eventually I'm going to go to jail, and then when I try to get out of jail,
in 2 miles, take the exit toward New Jersey Turnpike.
I'm going to get this car out, and they're not going to give it to me. You know what I mean? Because it's not my name. It's just signed up, and so I'm like, hey, just let me get my tools, and I'll sell you that car, or I'll trade you for something else you got that's got a good tag. This tag's out. I don't want to mess with all that.
You can avoid them by
Back
going
then,
via I-95 North, which saves 2 minutes.
could you
If you
talk
prefer
some
to
more?
stay on the current route, tap no thanks.
No thanks.
After 1.5 miles, keep right to take exit 58AB towards Interstate 95, New Jersey Turnpike, and then keep left.
Anyway, so I'd sell the car and just buy another one, right? But I would go to jail while I was in there. I would witness to the people that's in there about to go to prison. So I called it life on the installment plan. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's about 7 calendars of my life, like actual time. But it's broken up into segments over the course of
In 2 miles, take the New Jersey Turnpike exit.
over the course of about 20 years. So, anyway, I'm gonna get off here. That shit's telling me go this way, go that way. I literally got this shit telling me 3 different directions to go where I'm going.
After a quarter of a mile, keep right to take exit 58AB towards Interstate 95, New Jersey Turnpike, and then keep left.
All right, Rockwell, go get him.
Now keep